Hey guys, time to do a overdue review on the Husqvarna Hatchet. I actually picked this up back in April. I wanted to spend a little extra time with it before I reviewed it because this is just one of the most respected hatchets on the internet as far as price and value. And I just wanted to make sure I was giving it, a really good, thorough test before I went. Because, in the end, guys, lots of times I tend to find with these products that like everybody loves, that there are issues with them and they just get ignored. So I wanted to make sure. I really just wanted to make sure because this is such a popular item. Now I actually picked this up on sale back in April. It was like $22 on Amazon and like $8 shipping. So I got it for like $30 and a little bit of change, which is a really good price because this is normally a $40 hatchet. So it is something, we'll look out for. You may find this thing on sale here and there. So what is it? It's a 13-inch hatchet with a 1.2 pound head, made in Sweden. Now, depending on who you talk to, everyone's going to say, oh, they're made by Wetterlings. And yeah, that was true 5 years ago, but pretty much from what I understand now, they're made of a combination of Holtz-Brooks, Hultafors, and a couple other people. I really don't think they have any set manufacturing anymore. I know they were made by Wetterlings at one point, but that's been gone 5 years now. So this thing comes with a really nice leather mask, which is kind of awesome. Because for that price you are getting, a pretty decent mask. So we'll take that off real quick. You can see it's pretty well made. It's a nice thick leather, but still nice and supple. Really nice snap on it. Overall, very good for the money. No need to replace it, which is awesome. So axes. For what's important for me are two things. Number one is fit and finish. Number two, performance. We'll go over fit and finish first. This is actually one of the better axes I've gotten in a while. You know me, I'm going to nitpick every production axe I get. And very, very little to complain about on this axe. So we'll start at the bottom, work our way up. So we have a pretty good sized lanyard hole. Really good straight grain hickory handle. You can see that holy cow, brain fart, grain orientation is pretty close to perfect. That's about as good as you're going to get. And it's a really nice tight grained hickory handle. There is literally zero grain runoff. It runs one end of the, coast to coast. Very good. Very comfortable handle. It's also unfinished, so there's no varnish or anything like that you're going to need to strip off on this thing. So you can pretty much just give this thing a light sanding, and if you want, coat it with boiled linseed oil, and that will protect it very well. So overall, pretty comfortable. I wish it were a little bit thinner, but once again, that's something you can fix with sandpaper. Get it to exactly how you want it. Fit of the head, pretty darn good. A couple little spots where I can see some air, but once again, for a production axe, that's actually really good. So, the head, hand forged in Sweden. Well, not quite as hand forged as you think. It's actually done in an open die. So basically, they put these into a die and then hit them with an auto hammer. So there's not some big burly Swedish dude out there hitting these things with a hammer. It's done by machine, by hand. So, Husqvarna. I think Husqvarna has one of the nicest stamps on the market. They have that really nice front sight because Husqvarna used to actually make guns. They have their handmade in Sweden. It's got that forge finish on it, the scale. You got the squared pole on the back, so you can use it for pounding steaks. And you can see a little bit here, guys, that the head is at a little bit of an angle to the handle. You can see the head kind of tilts off a little bit this way, ever so slightly. Not a big deal. It's very minute. It never will affect the performance, but just did want to note it. Blade. A lot of these hand-forged blades, the edge will be kind of curled a little bit, and you can see this one is as well. The top section here kind of waves out, as you can see. Kind of comes down and then waves to the right. Near the bottom there. Also very common for hand forged, or at least what they call hand forging. But will it affect performance? No. Is it a flaw? No. That's just a result of it being made the way it's made. So it fits very nice. Edge. Very nicely convex edge. You can see that kind of where that they started sanding there and then the actual grind there. It's actually, it's a little uneven, but nothing that'll affect performance. Nicely convexed. Let's see if we can get that to focus. You see that comes to a really nice point. Very nicely convexed. It's a nice angle, nice geometry to it. Not perfect. I would like a little thinner myself, but that will happen as I sharpen throughout time. So let's go up to the top. You can see the handle is mushroomed out ever so slightly with a wood wedge and a round metal wedge. You can see the grain is still near perfect near the top. The wedge fits in there very well. The round wedge did create some cracking, but that's no big deal. That's going to happen anytime you have a handle coming up proud over the top there, so no big deal there. So overall, very good for how it's made. This is about as hand forged as you're going to get without going to an actual custom axe maker, to be honest. So this is about as authentic as you're going to get. So okay, now that we've talked about all that, let's talk about performance. This thing does really well out of the box. I did all my testing out of the box. Only some very light sharpening just to keep it kind of where it needs to be. It bites pretty deep. It splits kindling very well. It takes down brush very well. This thing is a good all-around hand hatchet. No, you're not going to take down big trees with this thing, but that's just common sense. But for a single-handed hatchet, you can use this for carving, kindling, camp use. Very versatile size. The 13 inchers are very versatile. Minus, felling a tree, these things can do quite a bit. So, and like I said, you have that square pole in the back, so if you're going to be pounding in stakes or anything like that, you can use that for that as well. So performance-wise, very happy. I think it's only going to improve as I thin down that edge a little bit, over time. I'm not going to do that overnight, guys. I'm not that neurotic, I swear. But every time I sharpen it, I will try and take it, a little bit down with the file and thin it out a little bit. And over time, I think it will improve to the point where when I get it where I want it, I'll just maintain that angle. So I'm not taking off much, a couple degrees, guys. Don't think this is some reprofiling thing where I'm going to be, no. This is just taking it back slightly over the years kind of thing to get it where I want it. It will happen. It's not an overnight thing. But with any axe, it isn't. I like to experiment, play with the geometry, go along a little bit back at a time until I get it where I want it. So, and this is no different, but then again, I'm never going to be happy with any production axe. That's just the way I am. So, but this, as far as it goes, as far as I'm concerned, does live up to the hype. It did very well. In all my performance testing, it did very well with the fit and finish. It's, overall a good value. Now, you're going to get some, $20 and $30 hatchets that are pretty good, but this, I think, for the money in that $30 to $40 price range is a very nice hatchet. It's very good steel. It's, an authentic, kind of reasonably handmade item, and you're going to get the performance out that you want, and plus, they're really kind of, the whole Swedish axe thing is really hip right now, so if you are a lumber sexual, this will probably get you a few dates. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this Husqvarna Hatchet.